Joe, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, good, thank you. Good. Thanks so much for your time. Obviously, the last 12 months have been challenging for everyone. So, what's been the real impact specifically for young people?
Well, yeah, like you say, it's been very challenging for everybody. And I think, one of the main things we've seen for our young people is just a lack of certainty and so much change. And I think the things that they know and hold dear, like the routines and school and things like that, have just all gone out the window. School's been a massive issue. They were off for such a long time. So at the beginning of the last 12 months, and then a lot of young people have been back and forth to school, and then sort of been sent home because there's been sort of positive cases in their year group, and that's had a real knock on in terms of their sort of overall attainment. And in fairness, schools have been trying really hard to send work home, but it's a completely new way of working for them as well. And then there's obviously the other issues that young people have faced that have sort of made them issues worse as well. So a lot of young people haven't got access to tech. We've tried getting laptops for young people. We've supplied some young people with mobile phones, just basic ones, just so they could have contact with their project worker. Because we realised that a lot of our young people were becoming really isolated from not just from school, but the friends and the professionals that are there to support them. Normally through difficult times, but then you add a COVID on as well, and it just made things really, really difficult. And I'd say one thing that school also offers for our young people is 7 or 8 hours a day where they're out of the home, where they've got support there. Some of our young people's their sort of home life isn't great. There's there can be abuse and a lot of hostility going off. And actually that 7 hours a day can be a bit of respite for our young people at times, but then that's been very unpredictable. And the other thing we've seen a lot of is sort of young people's mental health suffering. So you take away the support networks, you take away the friendship groups and that contact that they can have with other people. That's really affected our young people. It's brought a lot of anxiety, a lot of worry, and as I said right at the beginning, a lot of confusion. They haven't got a clue what's going on, same as a lot of people. And it causes a lot of issues for our young people, and we're just trying to sort of manage that the best we can at the moment.
Thank you. So our main source of referrals for young people is through the rail network and British Transport Police. So how has the lockdown affected this?
Well, as you say, all of our referrals really come through the British Transport Police. So that's when a young person's been sort of come into contact with British Transport Police on the rail network. At some points that might be sort of on the train, on the platform, at the station, sort of trackside, things like that. And at first we did notice a fairly big dip in our referrals, only for a month or two, and then things really started to pick up and get back to sort of normal levels of referrals coming through. I think it sort of, when the footfall dropped across the network initially in March, we saw a dip, but then things, like I say, picked up. It's not really slowed down since, if I'm honest. And I think one thing that really stood out to us early doors was the level of vulnerability that some of the referrals and the young people that were on those referrals were coming through was increasing. I think desperate times call for desperate measures for some of our young people, and especially those who are at risk of exploitation. I think things become a lot more desperate for those young people, and a lot of the networks had started to close down in terms of support for those young people, and I think some of them felt really helpless and alone, as I'd said previously. So the referrals stayed the same, but the vulnerability increased. So that's what we'd seen in terms of that referrals. But what I would say is, we as a service, we aren't time limited, which is a really nice position to be in. We don't stick around any longer than we need to for the young person's sake, but we aren't in a rush to close the case and move on and almost churn through young people. We're there as long as it takes, and as long as that young person and the family need support, we'll do what it takes to get them that, really. And I think as well as referrals that have come through, we already had young people on our caseloads from before lockdown, and obviously it's had a knock-on effect on them as well. So we even had young people who we had closed prior to COVID hitting, coming back to the service. Not necessarily through the normal referral network, but just ringing their worker and asking for some support and asking for a chat, which, I think is a massive credit to our team, just to say, these young people really benefit from that support they've had previously, and, wanted it moving forward to get them through this crisis. So yeah.
Great. So how has the team been able to manage the restrictions and the challenges caused by coronavirus?
Just adapted. They've been great, really. It's been a completely different way of working for us. We at first we sort of had to move back from our face-to-face work that we were doing. That is just our bread and butter as a project team. We go out, we build the relationship up with young people, but we had to think differently, and the team sort of embraced that really quickly. We offered sort of virtual support to young people, so that might have been, regular phone calls, video calls. We sort of emailed some of our young people. We sort of really got stuck in, and the team really changed the way that they do their normal day-to-day work. And I think that's had a real sort of, for some young people, it's, they thrive off the face-to-face contact. We can't move away from that. But a lot of the young people really bought into the virtual support as well, and it got them through some really difficult times. And then, again, the team adapted to every lockdown. We work a lot in the north, and especially in the northwest, there was lots of local lockdowns as well, so the team navigated around them. We started face-to-face as soon as we could and get back out there. We had some support from BTP in terms of some face masks and gloves and some PPE to get us back out there when PPE was really hard to get hold of at the beginning of the lockdown. And we thoroughly risk assess our face-to-face visits to, so we can offer that support to those young people that might not engage as well virtually. So we have got this wraparound sort of support for all our young people, and try to be there for them when they need us, as I say. So yeah, the team's been brilliant and just adapted and changed and rolled with it, really. It's been an interesting 12 months, let's say that.
What does the future look like for children we're supporting and the UK work as a whole?
So, as we know, it's going to be a challenge, adapting to whatever's around the corner, really. I think one thing last year taught us was we never know what's coming next, really, with this whole pandemic. And I think what's happened is it's really highlighted to us how resilient our young people are. They've been incredibly resilient throughout, and a lot of them have been facing traumas from way back in their lives, and then to add this into the mix, they've really had to sort of be really strong and step up and really push through it. And we're really proud of our young people and the way they've dealt with this entire situation, really. And I think as a team we've been really overwhelmed with the support that we've had, and this only helps us carry on doing what we're doing and protecting these vulnerable young people. So I'd just like to say a massive thank you for that, really.
Great. Well, thanks so much for your time, Joe, and take care of yourself, and see you soon.
Thank you very much. Cheers.